everybody, this is Isaac Duralna, your host of LTTL Outdoors, and today we are happy to welcome Lanny Benoit to the program. Unfortunately, the video quality is a little bit blurry, but stay tuned because the content is great. You're going to learn a lot about hunting and tracking in the big woods. Also, I just wanted to say that the opinions expressed in this interview are not necessarily my opinions or the opinions of longtime sightlines. We thank you very much. Keep watching and enjoy the video. Hey everybody, I'm here with Lanny Benoit, and he's agreed to answer a couple questions for me. What are some of the pros and cons to tracking deer? What would you say was the main advantage to tracking deer compared to how some hunters pick a spot and sit?
Well, I've done sitting some to do camera work. It's a little easier to do camera work. The biggest thing about tracking is that you always have a big buck in front of you all day. That's the most important part. When you're sitting, you're just waiting for something to come by. I guess the bad part about tracking is if you're not in very good shape or if you push yourself hard, there's a certain amount of pain in tracking because you can get wore out and tired, and you can wake up the next day and find muscles you didn't know you had. So, but it's a lot of fun tracking. You get to learn more about the woods, just wandering around in the woods. The nice thing about tracking a big buck, he takes you through all the areas where he's done scrapes, and he'll show you the pockets of deer. And so you get to find these places if you do want to sit, because he'll show you where all the runways are. So that's a big advantage right there, just following a big buck track.
In your opinion, what is the biggest misconception or gimmick today's hunters have about what it takes to harvest a buck?
They watch too much TV. Start with, the thing I don't like about this modern day stuff is TV has too much emphasis on scoring. You know, they'll see a nice trophy buck walk out through and can't shoot that one, he's got a broken point. Are we hunting these deer for their antlers, or are we hunting them to eat? And when I grew up, back in the 50s when I started deer hunting, when you shot a deer, nobody asked you what it scored. They asked you what it weighed, because, and then if it was a 200-pound buck, they go, boy, that's all going to be all good. That'll keep you, well, back then, sometimes that was the meat that got you through the winter. You didn't have to buy any. It just cost you a few shells. There's too much emphasis on scoring, too much emphasis on food plots, because that's not fair. It's not fair chase. You got to have a fair chase, in my opinion. I've never hunted over bait piles or food plots because I really don't believe in them, and I can't sit anyways because I like to walk around. As long as I can walk, I'm always going to track a big buck, period. That's just the way it is. But they need to talk less about scoring. Because the anti-hunters, they look at that and go, geez, they're just shooting them for their antlers.
Yeah, definitely.
It's nice to get a big rack, but
That's a bonus on top of it.
yeah, if you shoot a 220, 30-pound buck, even a 200-pound buck, he's a trophy whether he's got a big rack or not.
Obviously, snow can be a key factor when it comes to tracking. What do you do when there isn't any snow?
Well, there again, see, the year before, if you did track a big buck on snow, he showed you right where all the crossings are and stuff, and that can lead into a half-hour talk on how to hunt on bare ground. But if you followed him the year before, you can go sit in one of those places, and those are natural runs, and the deer, generations of deer will keep using that same trail. So if you find the perfect spot, you can shoot a deer there every year if you want to sit and wait. I mean, that's a pretty good thing there.
Other than the bare essentials of guns and ammo, what is the most important tool you bring into the woods and why?
Most important tool you have is your pumpkin.
Your brain?
Yeah.
Yeah?
If you use your common sense, if you have a lot of common sense. Now, when I hunted in Maine, when I first started hunting in Maine in 1972, I never even had a compass. And when I hunted in Vermont when I was a kid, I never had a compass. I hunted years in Maine with no compass, but you see, I had a lot of common sense. I wasn't scared about getting lost. I'd kind of keep track of when I swung, and when I didn't swing, I'd And the sun is as good a compass. If the sun's out, like your sun is a compass. It comes up in the east, middle of the day that's south, afternoon that's west. So having common sense. And there's a lot of stuff in the woods that'll tell you north and south too. As long as you have your bearings when you go in the woods. A lot of common sense.
Since deer chew their cud in order to digest food, a good sign that a deer is about to bed is when they start eating a lot. In your experience, other than tracks becoming fresher, what are some signs that you know you're approaching the deer?
He starts taking short steps, puttering around. A lot of deer will be feeding and you don't even know he's feeding because they don't feed like cows a lot of times. They don't. They nip little small buds. And when they're taking them little short steps, that's what they're doing. You take does, for instance, not big bucks, but does will feed all day, every day. They feed, lay down, get up, feed, lay down, get up. That's what they do. So short steps and a lot of feeding.
Obviously, someone can see all the deer in the world, but if they aren't comfortable with their weapon, they won't be able to kill anything. You guys are known for your shooting capabilities. What are some suggestions you have for hunters that are starting out?
Now, we're going to go back to the other, how do you know he might lay down? Sometimes you'll be going up a mountain and he's headed for a spruce knob. Usually he's going to go up there and lay down. Now we'll go back to shooting. Run that question by me again. I'm still thinking about the other one.
Obviously, someone can see all the deer in the world, but if they aren't comfortable with their weapon, they won't be able to kill anything. What are some suggestions you have for hunters that are starting out and ways that they can become more comfortable with their weapons?
I think they don't shoot enough. Most people, when they're going to go deer hunting, probably 9 out of 10 of them go to the range, they sit on the bench, they shoot 100 yards. That's as far as they shoot, 50 to 100 yards. They shoot there, boy, gun shooting okay, but they don't have the gun sighted in for what it's capable of. If you have a .06, 270, 308, that gun will shoot 400 yards like nothing. And now you just got to learn how to sight it in so it will shoot 400 yards. In other words, you can aim dead on here, dead on over there. I got a gun I use, it's sighted in for roughly 400 yards. You can shoot 365 yards that we have at deer hunting school. And there's a little plate about this big, it's on a swings back and forth. When I get done with the hunters, they can hit that every shot, but now they can shoot closer, closer, closer. They can shoot right in this room here and shoot dead on. And we really emphasize about shooting a lot. You don't have to shoot the gun that you're using to go hunting with, but you need to shoot a fair amount so you get used to it. Like if you're going to shoot your high-powered rifle and you're going to go hunting, you should shoot it at different ranges. Don't just shoot at 50 yards because a lot of shots are further. And you hear guys say how they missed the deer because they weren't used to shooting at 200 or 300 yards.
Yeah.
But you can hit an orange at 300 yards if you got your gun sighted in right and using the right kind of gun. And you get running shots here in the Northeast, and what you want to do is use a gun that has a lot of velocity to it. Something that goes, 2,500 to 3,000 feet per second. The faster the better because you don't have to lead the deer. Because you pull the trigger to the rock at 250 yards, dust flies off it instantly.
Deer calls such as doe bleats, buck grunts, and rattling antlers are all the rage in the modern whitetail industry. While these calls definitely have their place, not all hunters use them and can still be successful. From your experience, have you used calls, and if so, have they been productive?
Calls work. I've used them some, they work. Bleats work. Most all that stuff works, but see, I'm an old-time hunter, and I don't lug none of that stuff with me because I like doing it fair chase. So I don't rattle, I don't do any calling. I just depend on my own senses and my own wits, and I have a fair chase, and I like that. I get more satisfaction out of tracking a deer down if I can and shooting him. I have more fun with that than I do calling him in and ambushing him. Nothing wrong with that. All works, that stuff.
That's another cool thing about deer hunting is you can, use all these different tactics and have success multiple ways.
See, I'm still the old type guy. I put something in the back of my coat to eat. I carry a few bullets with me,
You go out all day.
and I go all day. And I shoot deer every year, and I shoot big bucks every year. Every year, and I'm 68. Still shooting them tracking. So if you can walk 4 to 5 miles a day in the woods at a moderate, slow pace, don't make no difference. You can still shoot a buck tracking if you want to do that. And you're going to see way more deer if you're walking around all day than you are sitting in most places, especially in the Northeast. Now, if you go sit on a corn pile somewhere out west, and that's a different story, but that's not really hunting to me. Anybody can shoot a tin can over there. And if you sit in a blind, you know, you don't really need a camouflage suit on. You can put a suit and tie on, the deer don't know, and you don't need to whisper all day either.
Yeah. You guys can go check out the Benoists on their website, Benoistsbigbucks.com, and they have DVDs and books, and I just want to thank you for doing this.
You mean we're all done?
Yeah. Want to answer some more?
Well, I should throw a chew in and we can do another hour.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Another handshake, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to follow LTTL Outdoors on Facebook and YouTube. You can search us on Facebook by typing in www.facebook.com/LTTL Outdoors and liking our page. On YouTube, you can search LTTL Outdoors, and you can watch, comment, and like our videos. Also, make sure to subscribe. That way, whenever we post a new video, you'll be notified and can watch it from there. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it.